Wildfires ripped through New Jersey this past summer and fall, burning up acre after acre of forest and threatening homes and businesses. In fact, 884 wildfires in total since last September. Governor Murphy is launching a campaign called NJ Wildfire Smart to better understand where the state needs to improve its wildfire response. Today, he met with members of New Jersey's Department of Environmental Protection. Ted Goldberg was at the event where he learned what New Jersey's doing to deal with its ongoing dry conditions as we head into the spring.
Coyle Field in Barnegat has some pretty cool vehicles used to fight fires. Sadly, they've gotten a lot more use lately, with the record drought contributing to a larger risk of wildfires.
Then that's interspersed with these sudden, intense rainfalls that cause extreme flooding events. And so this is the world of worsening extremes that we're dealing with.
In response, Governor Phil Murphy has launched a campaign called NJ Wildfire Smart.
Safety, mitigation, awareness, response, training.
Ahead of peak wildfire season beginning in a month, state agencies plan to pool together information and make it easier for people to read it and stay safe.
Things like wild risk mapping so that you can zero in on your home, your property, and see your level of fire risk, and then get important information and tips on what you can do to protect your home.
Some of the information is common sense, like not setting off fireworks in the middle of the woods. Other advice is stuff you might not think of.
Within 0 to 5 feet of the house, you can't have trees touching the house. You can't have vegetation touching the side of the house. That 0 to 5 feet needs to be devoid of everything.
Governor Murphy announced the campaign at this roundtable with mayors affected by wildfire, from the Pine Barrens all the way up to the New York border. The mayors agreed that they want to see more prescribed burns, or controlled burning, to clear the forest floor of things that can spark or accelerate flames.
I think that's really important that we look at doing some controlled burning more, because I think that's going to prevent us. And we've got some real big, we got hundreds of acres.
More burning, I would say, is very good, that they should do more burning.
The township is 80 square miles, West Milford, and 32% of the township is Newark watershed property. Unfortunately, after Superstorm Sandy, there's a lot of dead wood in there, and from what I understand, that is a precursor to actually having a greater risk for forest fires.
The New Jersey Forest Fire Service has an annual goal of 25,000 acres of controlled burning, but last year they went through just 20,000 acres, and some years they're much further below that goal.
We do prescribe burn every option we get, every chance that we get, but New Jersey's rough. You go from the burning season right into fire season. Some of the things that we want to burn aren't necessarily state property. Folks may not necessarily support the idea of burning.
We've really ramped up our prescribed burning program just in the last 5 years. We've taken staff and dedicated a team to look at the prescribed burning that's going on throughout the state.
Other issues brought up at the roundtable include a reduced workforce at the Forest Fire Service, even as the bulk of the state is still experiencing severe or extreme drought.
We have a lot of volunteer firemen within the 19 towns that I have in the 9th Legislative District. I'm sure a lot of them would love to have a professional career in the Forest Fire Service.
Make sure we have the pilots for the helicopters. Make sure we have enough staff. 60 people doesn't sound like a whole lot for as much woods as we have.
I know money's an issue, but a lot of the equipment is very old in the forest fire, and I give these guys all the credit in the world to work with what they have. And the mechanics, they put together these vehicles and equipment. I don't know how they do it.
Governor Murphy also gave a preview of the state budget, set to be released in a couple of weeks.
It'll be a tough budget. Most American states are living through what we're living through. We deliberately overspent coming out of the pandemic so that we could get back on our feet faster. And this is a year where we're going to have to trim our sails. I'm happy to say we're not going to trim our sails in the resources we put together to fight fires.
Murphy says the Forest Fire Service will get the same amount of money it received last year, despite the growing risk of wildfires statewide. In Barnegat Township, I'm Ted Goldberg, NJ Spotlight News.